There to share the wealth in that regard.
Boston was pushed out. 7 to shoot. Boston methodical on her take. After they had fallen behind by 6 in the quarter, then Sydney Colson, as Aliyah Boston has an extended conversation with the officials, and then is gonna get over to Angel Gray. Angel?
Aliyah Boston walked off the court visibly frustrated.
Aliyah Boston walked off the court, visibly frustrated. Kelsey Mitchell had just dropped 24 points while running the offense out of position. The Fever had clawed back from 17 down without Caitlin Clark. Plus both Sydney Colson and Aari McDonald, all sidelined. They still had the game in their hands. Then, on one final possession, slipped away. A questionable shot choice, no timeout, and controversial late calls the coach would later publicly question. We'll reveal what Aliyah said post-game short, blunt, and right at the heart of why this stings. But first, you need to understand how they got here. Comment down below. What do you think of this tough loss? Let's go.
7-0 Indiana run. They're within 2 and a foul. This time, Peckers does get the call.
I thought this might have been an offensive foul. Howard for the finish.
Indiana's considering challenging this call, but they will not, as Peckers gets free.
How do you run an offense when your entire point guard depth chart disappears overnight? For Indiana, this wasn't a hypothetical. They were living it. Just days before the Dallas matchup, in a brutal sequence during the Phoenix game, Sydney Colson tore her left ACL and Aari McDonald fractured a bone in her right foot. Both injuries were season-ending. In one night, the Fever lost to floor generals players meant to dictate pace, control possessions, and keep the offense organized. With Caitlin Clark already sidelined since July due to a groin injury, Indiana suddenly had no top 3 point guards for the first time all season. No regular ball handlers, no one to absorb full court pressure, no one to execute the sets exactly as this roster was built to play.
What's the reaction been from you guys, the players, the coaches, to losing Sid and Aari?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just brokenhearted for them. They're 2 really good people that you hate to see this happen to. They've been an integral part of what we've been doing, and so hate it for them. Unfortunately, it's part of the deal, and we've got to roll with it. And we've got players in that locker room who believe in one another. Players in that locker room who are as competitive as all get out. We've got versatility, and it's going to have to be on full display. So I think now it's about playing to honor them, right, and playing for.
The ripple effect was immediate. Without a true facilitator to steady possessions, breaking defensive pressure became harder. Turnovers piled up, and clean entry passes devolved into contested scrambles. Against Dallas, those weaknesses became glaring 17 turnovers converted by the wings into 27 points. That's more than a quarter of Dallas's offense, coming directly from Indiana's mistakes. Before the Fever even had a chance to settle into their half-court sets, every possession demanded more energy, every pass carried more risk. And the margin for error, already razor-thin, vanished entirely.
It's never fun to lose. I thought we got a pretty good look out of it. But again, I think, we shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. The 17 turnovers got us there. We shouldn't have even been there. But I thought, Kelsey got a look at it. It's unfortunate, but on to the next.
To even field a functioning rotation, the front office made an emergency move signing veteran Odyssey Sims to a hardship contract. She had barely a day to familiarize herself with the playbook or develop any chemistry. Thrust into action in her debut against Dallas, Sims logged 13 minutes, finished scoreless, recorded 2 assists and 1 turnover, and spent much of the game trying to read where her teammates wanted the ball rather than playing instinctively.
It's exciting. I know that Indiana is a great organization, and just to be a part of it and just to be here with the great players that I'm going to be playing with, this is a great opportunity. I'm just happy to be here.
What's the most important thing for you in a situation like this, to just get acclimated, just to kind of get your feet under you and feel your way around the new spot here?
It's not my first time just coming to a new team and coming in and just being me. The biggest thing is just doing what I do best. playing defense, playing hard, doing whatever the team needs. Obviously, I know they've been down with the injuries. Prayers up for Sid and Ari. Love them both. But like I said, I'm excited to be here, and I'm not going to do too much. But whatever coach tells me to do is what I'm going to do and have fun and enjoy my teammates.
That left Indiana with one realistic option for handling the ball on nearly every trip shift Kelsey Mitchell out of her natural scorer's lane and into the lead guard role. The coaching staff had no luxury of easing her into it. Every inbound, every set, and the constant defensive attention all landed squarely on her shoulders. And it wasn't just an X's Ondo's adjustment tit altered the physical demands of her game. She now had to initiate possessions under relentless pressure, while still carrying the expectation of producing as the primary scoring threat.
Obviously can play make, as she showed in the last game, but it's not like her most natural way of playing, I would say. Do you have to tell her to focus on that? Does she just kind of know that as the primary ball handler in these games, she'll do it? How does that kind of process work when it's not a true point guard at the one?
Yeah, I mean, I want her to just do what she's been doing. You know, she's been excellent all year long. She's been efficient all year long. Her decision-making has been on point all year long.
The Dallas game became a snapshot of just how much those injuries dictated the flow. With a patched-together backcourt, every made basket required grinding effort. Every turnover opened the door for an opponent's run. And yet, even in that weakened state, they were right there at the finish, because the player carrying the heaviest load refused to let the game slip without a fight. For Indiana, that weight fell squarely on Kelsey Mitchell, their most dangerous pure scorer. Was suddenly tasked with running the offense from start to finish. Normally, she's catching the ball in scoring position, not dribbling it through traps or orchestrating half-court sets. But without Colson, McDonald, or Clark, she was the only realistic option to initiate, and Dallas knew it.
Every single playoff game will be on our networks as Mitchell finally gets a look. Her first points of the second half. Curl it in. Doesn't get the whistle. Indiana with numbers the other way. Mitchell in the corner. Cut it. Big game from Aisha Hines-Allen off the bench. Mitchell sprints into the lane. Finds Cunningham. She got it. On a three, and it's a single-digit deficit.
On paper, her stat line was impressive. 24 points on 7 of -15 shooting. 4 of 7 from 3, plus 6 rebounds. In reality, those numbers came with nearly every possession starting in her hands. Against defensive schemes built to sap her energy, Dallas sent extra help in the backcourt, throwing traps and quick doubles to make every trip up the floor a battle. Each made shot was followed by yet another possession where she had to break pressure, then dig deep for the focus and stamina to score again.
Mitchell trying to create with 5 to shoot. Mitchell through the lane. Now to scoop it in. And it's a one-point game.
Arch right, but you know she loves to go left. How many defenders try to come over and help about 3 and still able to scoop it up and in?
Mitchell with 24 points.
On paper, her stat line was impressive. 24 points on 7 of -15 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, plus 6 rebounds. In reality, those numbers came with nearly every possession starting in her hands. Against defensive schemes built to sap her energy, Dallas sent extra help in the backcourt, throwing traps and quick doubles to make every trip up the floor a battle. Each made shot was followed by yet another possession where she had to break pressure, then dig deep for the focus and stamina to score again.
Mitchell trying to create with 5 to shoot. Mitchell through the lane, able to scoop it in, and it's a one-point game. Indiana ball down 1.7 to go. Cunningham has to get it in. Mitchell in the corner, can't hit, and Dallas hangs on. 81-80 the final as the Wings win a thriller in Indy.
It showed in flashes, a couple of possessions ending in turnovers. A few forced decisions when passing lanes closed too quickly, but Mitchell kept finding ways to keep the fever alive. The fourth quarter, down double digits, she buried a deep 3 from several feet beyond the arc, then motioned to her teammates to tighten up defensively. Moments later, she initiated a sharp pick and roll with Boston, threading the pass perfectly for an easy 2. Those were leadership plays, not just scoring bursts.
To outlet and attack in transition. When it got to the point where we didn't attack and we just started dribbling sideways, I probably should have used it at the 3-second mark instead of a little bit later. I thought Kels might have had a baseline drive, that she ended up coming back to the middle, and so I didn't like that. But I did want us to push in transition with a low clock and, limited opportunity.
This wasn't her preferred role. It's not the blueprint for sustained success. Asking one player to shoulder nearly all the scoring and playmaking turns that player into an easy target for a locked-in defense. We saw it here every action. Started and ended with Mitchell. When Dallas managed to slow her down, the Fever's offense stalled. Yet the fact that she still had them within a shot of winning says a lot about her resilience. Under those conditions, Mitchell's performance was as close to maxing out her capacity as it gets. She was the engine, the clutch shooter, the vocal leader keeping teammates engaged despite foul trouble and frustration with officiating. For opponents, her stat line is the headline. For the Fever, it's the hours of unrelenting work she poured in to hold the team together in a role she didn't choose. And the weight of that is exactly why fans are torn angry at the missed opportunity, but also in awe of what she gave. And while she carried the heaviest load, Mitchell wasn't out there battling alone. Other players stepped into bigger roles, hitting key shots, crashing the boards, and making defensive plays that swung the momentum just enough to give Indiana a chance. In games like this, you quickly find out whose impact goes beyond the box score. Against Dallas, it was the role players who refused to let the deficit become a death sentence.